go, everybody. What a wonderful day. Holy moly. Trump's Avengers team, the dream team, is in session, guys. We literally have all of Trump's team in place, ready to kick butt, make things happen. This is amazing. Kash Patel confirmed today. He literally came out and said the dream team is ready to come and clean out the deep state, guys. How exciting is this? On top of that, Elon Musk just revealed earth-shattering Doge findings, guys. This is huge. He said in terms of the COVID payments, going back to 2021, the pandemic, they found $200 billion of COVID payments that were literally sent to outside fraudsters out of the country. Like, are you serious? On top of that, guys, amazing news. U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper ruled that Trump can't continue with mass firings on every single agency or department that he desires. Guys, how amazing is that? House Democrats right now are trying to shut down Doge. They're trying to push through the Taxpayer Data Protection Act, which would literally block Doge from accessing all departments, guys. They're literally, now we know, are trying to flip 3 Republicans, and these are the names, guys. Mike Lawyer, Brian Fitzpatrick, and Don Bacon are the ones that the Democrats are trying to flip to try to get to come over to the Democratic side to block Doge. Man, if they did this, they would literally lose their seats in the next election in a heartbeat. On top of that, CNN has been officially evicted from the Pentagon, the release of the Jeffrey Epstein, the P. Diddy list, and more. And guys, I'm telling you, this right here, we are about to see Kash Patel come in on day one and start firing a ton of FBI corrupt deep state officials. Things are happening, guys. I want to say thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you to all of our subscribers. Thank you to all of our viewers. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so we can take care of you every day with the top news. And thank you everybody who's a member of the channel. We really appreciate your support. If you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. Want to give some love to Luis Thomas. Y'all show Luis some love in the chat, everybody. Thank you so much for your support. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, it really does help out the channel so much. Guys, we got a dang good show for you today, guys. We're going to start it off hot. We have literally seen Elon Musk at Cpac, and this dude is out there with a chainsaw, guys. I got to turn off the sound, but he was literally given a chainsaw by Javier Milei. Check this out. This is the chainsaw of bureaucracy, saying we're ready to cut it all. Look at that. How crazy is that, guys? This is at Cpac. I love it. And guys, it's just going to keep getting better and better. Look at that. This is beautiful, guys. Check this out, guys. Things are getting real. Things are happening fast. Check this out.
Full bill is better. I trust the guy. The numbers back it up that America is ready for a big, bold, transformational change. One last thing, Guy thinks I'm being too wordy on this, and it's possible I am, but I'm so fascinated by this. Can you imagine you get this big, bold, beautiful bill out there? The border's closed. The military's funded with high-quality weapons and cleaned out of all the waste. The tax cut goes through. No tax on tips. No tax on Social Security. This is all in one big bill. Regulatory reforms, all of it in one big bill. Donald Trump goes around the country, all over the place. Go to LA too. Does like 5 or 6 big national stops in huge media markets. Folks, this thing will pass with every Republican. You want to be on the wrong side of it? That's how you rock and roll. How do I know you've got a limited opportunity to do this? Data matters. Interactive polls on X. Great account. I enjoy it. Here's a Quinnipiac poll. I mean, again, not some right-leaning pollster. Folks, 22% of voters approve of the way the Democrats in Congress are handling their job. They note that's an all-time low.
Ooh.
Republicans have at least a 40, almost double. You've got a window to move now.
Yeah.
You've got this huge almost 20 percentage point buffer in approval. Donald Trump is at peak popularity. The Democrats are in disarray. They have no leader. They have no mission. They have no message. They have no nothing. They have zero. One big bill. Do it quick, do it surgical, do your rallies, get the public behind it. In 6 weeks, we could be looking at a changed America with signed legislation and Donald Trump at 55% approval and Republican Congress members at 40, 45, maybe even 50. Do it. Do it now. Sensitive to me. The updates from last night, he calls this the Trump truth updates because if you're not paying attention like these guys to Donald Trump's truth account, you're missing out on all the goodies. Donald Trump is now firing all of the, quote, Biden-era U.S. attorneys.
Yes.
We must clean house immediately and restore confidence. America's golden age has to have a fair justice system. That begins today. Ladies and gentlemen, again, the left, how many times we got to talk about it? We can use it. We've used this title of the show, 50 times? Because it's so appropriate almost every single day. The hair's on fire, the wetting of the diapers. It's really embarrassing. Folks, what we call AUSAs and USAs. U.S. attorneys, I know USAs, the United States of America's. No, it's U.S. attorneys in the law enforcement field. And AUSAs, Assistant United States Attorneys. They serve at the pleasure of the president. These are not civil service type employees. These are not administrators. These are political appointees. Donald Trump has every right to let them go.
Yes.
Joe Biden did the same thing. It's not an argument. Let the media melt down. They're embarrassing themselves. It doesn't matter. I just wanted, the only reason I'm discussing this story, because I feel like if it's not a big deal and they do this all the time, why are you talking about it? Because there's a bigger story here. It's about AUSAs, but it's about the new Republican Party. And it's this. If you're bored right here, go put in a search engine, George Bush, United States Attorney scandal. Scandal, with air quotes, right? George W. Bush fired some U.S. attorneys, too. And do you remember? It was like this really big, quote, scandal. This goes to show you, you are the media now. It was a fake scandal. George W. Bush, whether you loved him or him, had every right to fire U.S. attorneys. Happens all the time. But because the media declared it a scandal, it actually became a scandal because they can make up fake news, and that was the only thing you had back then was fake news. Now, a story like this, do you notice the media, that the response to this has been almost null and void because of the rock'em sock'em robot strategy? This is why I disagree with Rove's piece. This is why you just keep hitting them. Yes. You're not even going to hear about this. It'll be a non-story the minute Kash is approved today. This was a huge, I'm going to say 2-week story when George W. Bush was president, maybe more. They're just not the media. The media's not the driver of the national narrative anymore, folks. They're just not. You're the media now. You know why this story's important? Because it's not. Does that make sense? This story's important because it's not important. It happens all the time. And in the past, it would have been a scandal. All right, moving on. The W's are just piling in. I told you in the beginning of the show with the can't stop winning thing that Karl Rove, he has a piece in the Journal. We discussed it earlier, but there's this two competing ideas now in D.C. The winning is actually coming so fast, people are starting to wonder, like Karl Rove, kind of old school Republicans. I get it, but I'm just giving you multiple perspectives. This is why we're better than them. Like, we see their side, but they don't see ours. They just see us as a bunch of crazies, even though we keep winning. It's not a crazy theory when you think about it, that maybe we should slow down the wins and maybe do a national tour about success at the border. Personally, I don't agree with that. I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time, to use the stupid cliche I hate, but whatever, you all get the point. It's a win-win. It's a win-win, right? This is like cliche time.
Guys, thank you so much for your support. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, appreciate your support so much.
I'm now, right? I like Rock'em Sock'em, right? And I think it's working because of the AUSA story, which is a non-story. But I want to give you the actual numbers because they're so ridiculously good that they're almost hard to believe, that it does make you think, maybe we should take a breath even for a weekend and do like a border tour. Here is Paul Perez, the CBP rep. He's on a cable news channel here talking about the border numbers. It's almost hard to believe how quickly Donald Trump shut the border. It's amazing. Check this out.
I've been with Border Patrol since the INS days back in 1997, so going on 28 years. And this is definitely trending to be the most secure border that I've ever worked under because of Donald Trump's policies and everything that he's put in place to secure the border. It's working, and those numbers actually tell that story.
Yeah.
Folks, they're ridiculous. I saw some number yesterday. They were like 260 encounters at the border. They were thousands, tens of thousands. It's insane. It's almost like illegal immigration as effectively like stopped.
Guys, let me tell you this, guys. It is beautiful what we're seeing. It is amazing. Trump is not playing around, guys. I've got this amazing clip for you to see right here that Trump said, you know what? If you think that I'm not going to pull the triggers of funding, federal funding to these states, he said, just watch. Thank you so much, John Reppy, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, what is everyone's opinion on renaming Doge to Federal Agency of Financial Oversight? FAFO. I like it. Y'all show John some love in the chat. Guys, listen to what Trump says about Maine because they're not complying with the executive orders that he placed.
I heard men are still playing in Maine. Is anybody here from Maine? Who is that? Is that the governor? That's, well, I hate to tell you this, but we're not going to give them any federal money. They are still saying we want men to play in women's sports, and I cannot believe that they're doing that. They are, let's find out who that guy is that raised his hand. Maybe he's just kidding. But, so we're not going to give him any federal funding, none whatsoever, until they clean that up. And I heard.
You hear that, guys? No federal funding for Maine until they clean up what? They clean up that they're going to follow the executive orders or they ain't getting no money. And he is pushing on this so hard that, guys, look at this. I want to show you these receipts because these are so important. Look at this. 66.5 billion federal expenditures on illegal immigrants in 2023. The one estimated total aid provided to migrants. Look at this. Up top, Trump terminated all of this, all these hundreds of billions of dollars that were allocated already to go to illegal immigrants, to migrants. He's pulled all that back and said, nope, we're not giving them a dime. This is for the American people. This is putting America first. Guys, I freaking love this. I am so excited with what you're about to see next. Check this out.
Game likes game, right? Game knows game, right? I'll tell you his game. The gentleman sitting in the White House, Donald J. Trump, it's a glorious day. Days of thunder. Days of thunder and years of lightning. Every day is Christmas Day. Every day you get more executive orders, more executive actions.
Let's go.
It's not going to stop. But you know what's the most important thing of all that? It's you. You're here today at Cpac. You represent the tip of the spear of the populist nationalist movement. All of that, from Kash Patel to McConnell leaving, to the J6 being free, right? To Zelensky being put in his place. And Elon just said it right there. It's been nothing but grift. The parents and the kids in Ukraine didn't want them to die. Who wanted them to die? The globalists wanted them to die. Who said stop it? You said stop it. You gave voice to President Trump. Now, why is it so important that all the media's here and the world's here and the Financial Times of London and the New York Times and all these, why are they all here? They're not here to see me. They can see me every day on Real America's Voice screaming like a madman into a microphone. They can see Rob Schmidt and Elon. Elon's everywhere, right? It's great he did this. He's everywhere. Right? Jd Vance, great, gave a great speech. And you can see JD all the time. President Trump's going to give a magnificent speech on Saturday, is he not? But they get enough of President Trump every day, don't they? Hell yeah. He calls them into the Oval Office. He signed an executive officer's office, executive orders, and they're sitting there throwing these questions. Ba-boom, ba-boom. He's like a howitzer. Oh, they got enough for President Trump. You know what they're really here for? They're here because of you. They can't defeat what they don't understand.
Ooh.
They can't destroy what they don't understand, right? They can't contain what they don't understand.
Boom.
From Riyadh to Beijing to Berlin to the city of London to Buenos Aires, you name it, in every world capital, every hedge fund, every political consultant, all the money, all the power, all the legislation. You know what they want? They want to understand MAGA. You know why? You represent the best of the American people. In your righteous indignation, you rose up. Right? You rose up. How many times I've been doing this? Last 2 or 3 years? What did I tell you last year on this very stage? We're going to win. We're going to win the primary. We're going to win the general election. And Donald Trump's going to return to the White House. And all these guys, all the mainstream media, the fake news, mocked and ridiculed. Trump's not going to win the primary, right? They had, who was it? Nikki Haley? had Governor, and I like Governor DeSantis' life. Governor DeSantis dropped out by then? I don't remember. Oh, soon thereafter. You had Trump's back. You had Trump's back in those dark days of 2021, did you not? Remember, he went to Mar-a-Lago, and it was like a lion in winter, and they all abandoned him except for you. And the Schlaps had enough guts and courage to taking the Cpac in Orlando and march 47 days after he had gone into exile because, guess what? They stole the 2020 election.
Ooh.
Is there any doubt in your mind that they stole the 2020 election?
Nope.
They stole it. And they know they stole it. They thought you were finished. They were going to debank you. They were going to deplatform you. You were nothing but trash. You're nothing but garbage. You're nothing but deplorables.
No.
Right? You surprised them with Hillary Clinton in 16, and guess what? 74 million, 11 more than we had in 2016 voted when you won the 2020 election. And the reason the J6ers are here and they're patriots is because that was a Fed surrection, totally set up by the FBI, by the Justice Department, by D, all of them. And we're going to show the receipts. We're going to show the receipts. And they thought Trump's finished and you're finished.
Them?
No. I want you to look within yourself right now at that journey. Go back to 2021. Go back to your life. Go back to the anxiety. And man, Trump won, but they stole it. The system's so big, so corrupt, so powerful. Remember that? Back on our heels, right? You didn't quit, just like in any military contest. We got a rally point. This is a glorious day. You know why it's glorious? Kash Patel's director of the FBI.
Let's go.
Confirmed by the United States Senate. As was Bobby Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth. Didn't they tell you it couldn't be done? Didn't they? All right there. Didn't the mainstream media say it couldn't be done? None of them, right? It's a glorious day. Mitch McConnell's gone. He retired, right? You did that. Remember on the Ukraine vote? Remember that? He broke his pick on that. You delivered that. Just like you delivered Tulsi and Bobby and Pete and Kash. They said Trump wouldn't get any of his cabinet members as key. He got them all. Why? Because of you.
Yes.
Scott Besson today said Elon's group in the first 30 days found $55 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse, right? $55 billion. That's going to add up to $600, $700, $800 billion.
Oh, yeah.
In 1 month, they've done that. And President Trump goes that day, he's so excited, he says, hey, I think we can balance the budget, right? President Trump, hang over a second. Let's just get it down on our tree and we'll start there.
Guys, it is beautiful, guys. I am so excited. If you're excited, if you're enjoying this, please click the thumbs up like button. Guys, I'm telling you, I am so excited with what's happening. I'm so excited with what I'm about to show you because, guys, it is just transparency. Like, we're finally, the dream team is in place. The people that we want that are anti-establishment, that are going to fight for the American people are actually in place. Listen to this.
Scaring bad guys is something Kash has talked about a lot, and you have when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein and the people who are like predators in this country. They've been given a pass, and a lot of Americans think these guys have got a pass for a long time and maybe even are still being protected right now. Where are we at with the Jeffrey Epstein list, the documents? And Kash has made a lot of public statements about this. Where are we at?
I was briefed on that yesterday. I can't talk about that publicly, but, you know, President Trump has given a very strong directive, and that's going to be followed.
Wow. Okay. So
a lot of documents.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So people can expect actual movement on this. It's not just empty promises.
Oh, Donald Trump doesn't make empty promises.
Yeah, right.
I think promises made, promises kept, and that's why we're all there to carry out his directive about making America safe and prosperous.
Guys, I'm telling you, I am so dang excited with everything that is happening. And what I love, guys, is the left is losing it. They cannot even fathom the American people getting Doge checks. They're literally saying, what would you do with $5,000? That's really not going to do much. Are you freaking kidding me? That's literally what you're about to see, guys, is they literally said, what would you do with $5,000? I can tell you, I can do a heck of a lot with $5,000. Listen to this.
Doge is successful. Musk is mulling $5,000 Doge dividend checks funded by the savings from his Department of Government Efficiency. 47 seems on board, but some Democrats aren't sold.
There's even under consideration a new concept where we give 20% of the Doge savings to American citizens and 20% goes to paying down debt, because the numbers are incredible, Elon. So many billions of dollars, billions, hundreds of billions, and we're thinking about giving 20% back to the American citizens.
We are not in the business of giving out money, and honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
Mm-hmm. Are you
that's what he
kidding
wants.
me?
He said, that's what the president just said.
He said to everybody.
20, you know what, here's the bottom line.
But I like it.
I like the idea of giving $5,000 to everybody, not because I want it or don't want it, but let's do something across the board for everybody, and let's cut down on the debt. The most important thing we've got to do is stop spending, stop funding programs, stop paying for things we shouldn't be paying for. And today, the president signed an executive order that directs all of the federal agencies to identify and eliminate programs currently providing benefits to illegals. Do you know how much money that's going to save? We have spent so much money on illegals and on USAID and on duplicity. I was a local DA. I prosecuted Medicaid fraud. Let me explain something to you. That was not my charge, but it was so unbelievable. I got hundreds or tens of millions of dollars, and it's low-hanging fruit. That you can't say you have to make sure we don't do this and don't do that. Let's just start from square one and then decide what is essential. What is essential for the American government to survive? And most of the stuff we have is just payback to people who did this for that person or this for another person. And we've got to stop doing that. And, you know, the IRS letting go 6,000 employees, I have no problem with that, because Joe Biden between 2021 and 2024 put on 25,000 new IRS agents. The only reason we even needed them was because of COVID. Nobody could figure out there was so much corruption, who was getting paid and not paid. So, you know, we can't start crying and saying, oh, we can't do this. Let's just get it done, go down to brass tacks.
I'm not crying. I'm only saying your guy should not have been fired.
Well,
The
wait a
CDC
minute.
office
Why
shouldn't have
not?
been closed. The low-hanging fruit of Medicare is where they should have started. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot more money there. That's all. And I'm not crying.
Real men don't cry.
Okay.
The fired IRS agents, are
Yes.
those the ones with the guns, Dana?
No.
No?
Well, I don't know who they're. One person I follow said that these roughly half of them are the ones that go after audit small business owners and the self-employed. And so, but I think we're kind of missing one point here that I would add to this discussion, which is that don't forget it was Biden's Inflation Reduction Act that added $80 billion in IRS funding and 90,000 more IRS agents. So even with what they're saying that they want to do with Doge, the Biden IRA people still come out ahead for the IRS. And the other thing is you are about to watch the Democrats add to their list of priorities defending the IRS. So now they're like digging an even bigger hole for themselves.
Yeah, Harold.
I said,
I'm not saying that Harold's not doing it, but
Keep crying.
our new friend is.
No, Harold. Greg.
Well, I mean, okay, so this dividend is not right, but it's persuasive.
Yeah.
You know, Doge wasn't supposed to be Robin Hood, but everybody loves Robin Hood, especially if he's robbing on behalf of you. And Trump understands, hey, if the government's been ripping you off and giving it to cronies, maybe it's time we get in on the action. Trump is like Omar in The Wire, stealing from the drug dealers. I get the idea, but it's not going to help solve the debt crisis unless you look at it long term. And this is where I straddle the fence. Oh, and it hurts.
That's not you. That's not the way you roll. You never straddle the fence.
Okay, so look at this long term. How do you keep the public supportive of Doge over time? Because I'm suffering from Doge exhaustion disorder. I wake up every morning. It's like getting a new puppy every day. I love it. But after 20 puppies, I mean, come on. But you know what? You know what's amazing? Trump fulfilled the most outrageous boast he ever made. You're going to win so much, you're going to get tired of winning.
Let's go.
And it's actually happening. I mean, maybe he knew that was going to happen. But so here's the deal. The dividend will keep supporters so you can continue with Doge after Trump. It's a bribe. But at least it's going to the citizens who've been ripped off and not some graduate of Brown who's getting their, student loan canceled in order to vote for Biden. We went through that. So it's not right. It's persuasive. If it's right, you devote it to preventing financial ruin. If it's persuasive, you try to do that while giving the public a fat green bone. That's what you want. That's what you want. And back to you, there's no counter argument right now. They're losing on Doge already. You had a Doge dividend. I mean, that's going to be more popular than Women of the Bible cookbook.
Why is giving your money back a bribe?
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is we are looking at the budget.
So they should
we have to shrink the government so you lower interest rates so that you can jumpstart the economy and then they'll get their money back. Sure, you can give them their money. It is their money, but you're not doing in 10 years when, our expenditures will be 7 times what we bring in. There won't be a country left, Jesse. How will you afford your hair gel?
You're talking about $55 billion that they saved
already
compared to the trillions Congress is spending.
Yes.
If Congress takes in $7 trillion in revenues and they spend $9 trillion, that's where the real savings are.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah.
It's like if you have, let's say that there's a person that has a lot of credit card debt. And then at the office, they all of a sudden find out they're getting a bonus. And it's a $5,000 bonus. What you would tell that person is you should pay down the credit card debt so that you can start getting ahead in the future. That would be
in your face.
The other argument.
That's why we have a 20%
you
for the deficit.
You also need to spend less, Dana.
Well,
Ooh. Guys, look, we're planning to spend less. They're planning to give back. It's the American people's money. Guys, if you are supportive of it, let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is some breaking news that just happened today, guys. This is literally music to our ears. Who is the Democrats been trying to fight Trump, Doge, Elon Musk with? all the administrative law judges. Well, guess what? Trump and Pam Bondi's DOJ just determined that the current level of removal restrictions for administrative law judges is unconstitutional. That means that cleaning out the obstructionist administrative judges just got a lot easier. Here's the actual document, guys. We bring the receipts right here. They talk about, guess what? They try to fluff it up so that you can't remove these judges. Well, actually, you can. And I love it. Clean up America, put America first, put Americans first, guys. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for your support. Guys, you are about to hear the man, the myth, the legend himself. We couldn't have gone. He went today and made a miraculous speech. We can't have not put him in the video today. Get ready for the Doge father, your boy, Elon Musk. Check it out.
I am become meme. Yeah, pretty much. I'm living the meme. It's like there's living the dream and there's living the meme, and it's pretty much what's happening, you know?
You're like, I think you're bigger.
I mean, Doge started out as a meme. Think about it. And now it's real. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
But it's cool.
Let me ask you this. A year ago, if someone had told you you'd be at Cpac and working with the president to absolutely shred the government, the swamp, whatever you want to call it, would you have ever believed that?
No.
No? Me neither.
But it's cool. This is awesome. And I just want to say, you know, thanks for your support. I mean, you guys are, you know. So, I mean, we're trying to get good things done, but also, like, you know, have a good time doing it. And, you know, and have like a sense of humor, you know? So, like I mean, the sort of the left wanted to make comedy illegal, you know? Like, you can't make fun of anything. So then it was like, comedy sucks. It's like, nothing's funny. You can't make fun of anything. It's like, legalize comedy. Yeah. Legalize comedy.
And we've shifted the entire culture in just the last few months. The whole culture of this country has shifted dramatically just because of that election.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, freedom of speech, having fun again. It seems like we should have a good time, you know.
I mean, it's a great time. Everybody in this place is so excited, and I mean, when you talk to conservatives, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And everybody feels this great sense of relief because we were going to hell for about 4 years. It really felt bad.
Yeah.
Especially toward the end, it felt really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were sort of heading for a point of no return, really.
Yeah.
You know, until that's why it was so essential that President Trump win the election, and that there be a Republican majority in the House and Senate, which, thanks to you, that has been accomplished.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I want to ask you, one of the biggest questions I have for you is, you've been, you know, politically, you weren't really on one side or the other for a long time. You're a businessman. A lot of people, they stay away from it. Now you're on a side, and you've chosen a side. You're sitting here in a MAGA hat. What's it, you know, how did that happen? What was the moment?
It's like,
you know,
dark Gothic MAGA.
That's a good one. Was there a specific moment? Was there a moment that it all changed?
Yeah, when I realized I was a fool. But no, I was, I guess, yeah, I mean, I'd say like I was politically neutral for quite a while. You know, leaning a little Democrat. You know.
How do you go from that to this?
Yeah, no,
How does that happen?
Well,
did they go crazy?
Yeah, they did go crazy.
Yeah, they went crazy.
No, I mean, that whole cancel culture and you know, it's trying to stop freedom of speech and infringe upon, just in general, infringe upon people's personal freedoms. You know, they just want state control of what you say. Mm-hmm. They want to, you know, take away your guns. And the reason they want to take away your guns, so like there's nothing you do to oppose them. So it's sort of like, you know, I just like, we just need to restore the fundamental elements of what made America great, which is freedom and opportunity.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of these freedoms disappearing in the West. It's not just about America. We're all watching Europe and knowing that they're about 50, 100 years ahead of us, right? Because they got an early start. And we're watching how they're devolving. And you're trying to save it from happening here.
No, I mean, in Europe, they put people in prison for memes.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, that's insane.
And they're collapsing. I mean, this society it's a collapsing society. It feels that way.
It feels like...
France was nicer 50 years ago than it is today.
Yeah.
I don't think you can question that.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, really... Thanks. I love you too. I really just wanted to do useful things, like, you know, basically build products, you know, provide products and services that are good, and that I wasn't really like that interested in being political. It just like there was at a certain point no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you on the same side of that coin, what's it like from going neutral to being vilified, largely vilified by the media? Like
What? No. Really?
I mean, you turn on some of these channels, brother. I mean, they're angry at you. Does it bother you at all? Does it get to you? Yeah.
I mean, when they're chanting for my death, I suppose that's a little, you know.
Not good.
But then, like, the song's not even that good, and it's like you call that a death chant? That's nothing. Please.
They've been singing a lot lately.
It's not even good music.
Yeah. There's a lot of music lately. It's not good music either. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that watching what you're doing with Doge is just people love it. I mean, I've always looked at the government and
yes.
I've always looked at the government and I've seen this big machine and you just know that they waste because they don't care. There's more money coming, they don't care.
Yeah.
You're cutting all this out. Everybody in this country knows that the government is full of waste, fraud, and abuse. And you're doing the work and the Americans love it. Watching their reaction politically to this, I can't believe how bad they are at responding to this. I don't know how you're gonna sit there and scream and complain because they're cutting waste out of the government and try to win another election. How do you try to win on that?
Well, at this point, I'm not sure how much of the left is even real.
Yeah.
You know?
How much was propped up by our money?
Yes.
Yeah, like literally, you know, you see like these sort of fake rallies where there's like hardly any people, and the media will like frame it and like, you know, get all 6 people, you know, in the frame, but it's like nobody else is there. Like just, it doesn't have popular support. But then you learn that like there's hundreds of billions of dollars going to these so-called NGOs.
Yeah.
And it's your tax dollars that are funding things that are fundamentally anti-American.
And they're propping up their narrative.
Yes.
A lot of that government money has been propping up a left that I don't think is as strong as they made it seem.
In fact, a massive amount of your tax dollars is going to legacy media companies.
Yes.
Directly from the government.
The government wants to take over media.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. That's why we have X.
Yeah, and that's
why you spent $44 billion. I mean, that's a lot of money.
I mean,
more than it was probably worth. But there was a message.
Freedom is priceless.
Priceless. Yeah.
Let's go.
Probably one of the most important investments this country's ever seen. If you got to protect the First Amendment, it's not much more important than that.
Guys, let me tell you this, the amount of freedom that people feel compared to just 4 years ago is astronomical. And all it takes is one. It took Trump standing up. It took Elon standing up, just a very few men to stand up for the right thing. And I just love it. This is breaking news, guys. We got President Trump reverses protections for 520,000 Haitian migrants. So right before Biden left office, he made it so that you could not deport these protected Haitian migrants, 500,000 of them. Well, Trump just reversed that, and now they're eligible for deportation and will be going back home. Because remember, these people are receiving all kinds of housing assistance, Medicare assistance, SNAP assistance, food stamps, all this stuff, guys. And this is just, again, reducing the overall cost on the taxpayer from the federal government. I love it, guys, because again, too, only they can do it. They have you don't get a choice to pay taxes or not, but yet they get the choice to spend it on whatever they feel like it. But I'm glad that we have people like Elon Musk and Trump who are standing in the gap to protect Americans' interest. And I want to say, guys, thank you so much for your support. If you don't mind clicking the thumbs up like button, you are so awesome. Check this out.
Watch out. Elon's got a chainsaw.
Okay, I can just cut it off like that. There you go. I can't get copyrighted, guys, with the music, but there he is with the chainsaw. Check it out. Let's go.
Get ready, DC. You're next in line behind Canada.
I think that we should govern District of Columbia. It's so important, the D.C. situation. I think that we should run it strong, run it with law and order, make it absolutely flawlessly beautiful. And I think we should take over Washington, D.C., make it safe.
D.C. got their first mayor in 1975. Before that, Congress controlled the Capitol. Now Trump wants it, which would make him the first mayor president ever. Unless Stephen Miller wants to be the Duke of Washington. Musk satisfied with merely being tech support, and if Musk fails, so does America.
You know, I grew up in South Africa, but my morality was informed by America. I read comic books, you know, played Dungeons and Dragons, and I watched American TV shows, and it seemed like America cared about being the good guys, you know, about doing the right thing. And that's actually pretty unusual, by the way. And so I was like, yeah, you know, you want to be this good, you want to be on the side of good, you want to care about what's right.
Elon and the Brainiacs, sounds like a band, have been given unfettered access to the government's back office. Doge is in God mode, and there isn't anywhere they won't go.
We do want to look. I mean, we hope everything's fine with Fort Knox, but we're going to go to Fort Knox, the fabled Fort Knox, to make sure the gold is there.
Where would the gold have gone?
If the gold isn't there, we're going to be very upset.
And Big Balls is going to Ukraine.
It's also time to find out what happened with all the money. Because he made the statement that half of it, he doesn't know where it is, or something like that. And I'd like to find out all the money that we've been sending to Ukraine, where is it?
Doge is sniffing around Ukraine, Fort Knox, the IRS, the Pentagon. I think it's pretty obvious now why they wanted Trump dead or in jail. And the CIA is on the clock for releasing files on JFK, RFK, and MLK. So get ready for some March Madness. Stacey Abrams is about to get doged. Right after she lost her last election, she started a climate group with a bunch of other people. You know, if you're a Democrat, gotta have a climate charity. Well, it started out with just $100. Couldn't raise a penny. Then Biden comes in and voila, they donate $2 billion to this brand new group. What does Stacey Abrams know about the climate? She's an erotic thriller writer who lives outside of Atlanta. Has Stacey Abrams ever even gone hiking? I don't know. She just doesn't strike me as a nature enthusiast. Did Stacey Abrams plant any trees with the money? Did she pick up any litter? Well, we can't find any evidence that this group did anything for the climate. Trump's guys are trying to claw back the cash, but that is a lot of money.
Golly.
And this is how the game works. Democrats launch 501c3s. Their friends in D.C. send them our money, and then they hire their cousins, pay all themselves fat salaries, and use the money to travel first class, of course, to climate summits and pay Al Gore to speak at their events. Everywhere you look in Washington are deals like this.
Yep.
Waste is pretty much everywhere. People ask, like, how can you find waste in D.C.? I'm like, look, it's like being in a room, and this target, the wall, the roofs, and the floor are all targets. So it's like, you're gonna close your eyes and go shoot in any direction. You can't miss, you know?
Elon's showing up with a chainsaw and he's holding D.C. hostage to get your money back. And Trump loves the idea.
Elon Musk is proposing potentially giving money to Americans based on what Doge is finding. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I love it. A 20% dividend, so to speak.
Yes!
For the money that we're saving
Woo!
by going after the waste and fraud and abuse and all of the other things that are happening. I think it's a great idea.
How much money do you think
Could be a lot. I mean, if it's 20%, would give back a lot of money to the taxpayer. And also would give an incentive for the taxpayer to go out and report things to us where we can save money.
Democrats are saying, not so fast. That's not your money. That's our money.
President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from Doge back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
No, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you if you are unable to find a job, because I am telling people we are headed towards a recession.
The Democrats saying $5,000 won't do anything for you are the same ones who said your house just burned down in Maui. Oh, here's $750.
Here's $750 to North Carolina.
Crockett used to love checks.
Crap for them daggone stimmy checks. That is my message.
Right.
Because again, I just explained to you the co-equal branches of government.
Right.
It was Nancy Pelosi who was running the House at the time, not Bag of Mike, but Nancy. It was Sister Nancy.
Right.
You need to thank Nancy.
We had to print money to send out those checks. With the Doge stimmy, we don't have to. It's a rebate check. They took it from you and you're getting it back.
Yes.
People in North Carolina, the Pacific Palisades, Maui, they could use a check right about now.
Oh, yeah.
Even the bureaucrats who were laid off could use the rebate. But this little senator, not so young Sheldon, says giving Americans back their own money is a crime.
I would analogize this to a smash and grab robbery. And speed is to your advantage when you're the smash and grab robber. And doing as much destruction as you can quickly is to your advantage when you're the smash and grab robber.
Now they care about smash and grabs. Shelley Shell did the smash and grab himself. He taxed you, said he was going to build roads and bridges here, and then just gave Juan a sex change in Guatemala. We didn't vote for sex changes in Guatemala. Joe Biden never campaigned on that. Congress sent COVID money to a school in California. They said, screw hand sanitizers and new laptops. They spent $400 grand renting out a Major League Baseball stadium for graduation. For social distancing, maybe, I don't know. There it is, Angel Stadium. These people don't care how hard you work to make that money. They'll just waste it like that. No respect.
People ask me, what's the most surprising thing that you've encountered when you go to D.C., when you're in D.C.? And I said, well, the most surprising thing is the scale of the expenditures and actually how easy it is to, when you add caring and competence where it was absent before, you can actually save billions of dollars, sometimes in an hour. They really lack empathy for the average taxpayer who's working hard, paying taxes, and then they say, oh, $1 million doesn't matter. I'm like, I think it matters a lot.
Yes. The only thing Primetime's discovered where we said, okay, well, you know what? This probably had an impact, these Doge cuts so far. So far, there were longer lines to get into a few national parks. And the locksmith got laid off at Yosemite, and someone got locked in the bathroom. So it took him a while to get out. How do you get locked in the bathroom? Never mind. Americans are getting laid off all the time in the private sector. Mass layoffs. The Washington Post just laid off 4% of its workforce. Are fired writers being interviewed on 60 Minutes? No. Southwest Airlines just laid off 15% of its workforce. And that's like the one airline that hasn't crashed. What's the difference? Well, the left thinks government workers are more important than workers in the private sector. They believe government workers do more for the country, and the country couldn't survive without them. So this is a test, all right? If Doge kills America, I was wrong, and I'll admit it. But if next year America's still here, the left owes me an apology.
Ooh.
We'll just add it to the list. Their new hoax is that now Musk is a Putin puppet.
People like sometimes like to end this war. Say like, I'm a bought asset of Putin. Yeah. I'm like, he can't afford me.
I think you're worth more than
Let's go.
Think about it.
You can't buy the richest man in the world, and that's what drives Democrats nuts. Can't buy him, can't shame him, can't cancel him. You can't debank him. And the world's richest man is teamed up with the world's most powerful man. Now Trump has the Secret Service. He should be in good shape. We hope, we pray. But Democrats are making things dangerous for Elon. The other day, a Tesla dealership was vandalized. Pam Bondi just launched Operation Whirlwind. And anyone slinging threats at Elon will be held accountable.
Let's
Chuck
go.
Schumer's already gotten letters from the Justice Department. There's nothing tyrannical going on here. And if there is, that's what we pay lawyers for. America's heartthrob, Stephen Miller, gave the press a civics lesson. Listen.
It is true that many of the people in this room for 4 years failed to cover the fact that Joe Biden was mentally incompetent and was not running the country. It is also true that many people in this room who have used this talking point that Elon is not elected fail to understand how government works. So I'm glad for the opportunity for a brief civics lesson. A president is elected by the whole American people. He's the only official in the entire government that is elected by the entire nation. The whole will of democracy is imbued into the elected president. That president then appoints staff to then impose that democratic will onto the government. The threat to democracy, indeed the existential threat to democracy, is the unelected bureaucracy of lifetime tenured civil servants who believe they answer to no one.
Trump can hire whoever he wants. It's not like Biden, who flew his son all over the world in a government jet and shook down foreign nationals for access. Elon has a nose for this. He's a computer science wizard, a turnaround artist, and he's pretty good with numbers.
I'll tell you a lesson I learned at PayPal. You know who complained the loudest, and the quickest and the loudest and with the most amount of righteous indignation? The fraudsters.
Ooh.
That's who complained first, loudest, and they would generally have this immense overreaction. That's how we knew they were the fraudsters. That's how we knew. There's a tell.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is here. All right, so Governor, we've had about a month of Doge. Have the oranges in Florida fallen apart? Have the beaches been spoiled? Is Florida just a disaster zone?
We're doing great. Actually, it's very exciting to see what they're doing. It's a long time coming. And I think the proof's going to be in the pudding when Congress has to now act, because Elon and his team can do all this. President can authorize swift action, but Congress ultimately is going to be responsible for changing its behavior and taking away this spending. And the reason why you see some of the things that you pointed out and others have pointed out in other areas is because Congress has been asleep at the switch for decades. They pass continuing resolutions and let the bureaucrats run wild. They pass omnibus bills, which nobody reads, and let the bureaucrats run wild. So when there's no accountability, you give license for bad behavior. Now you have Doge shining a light on this. I think it's been incredibly healthy. You know, in Florida, we were Doge before Doge was cool. We have the lowest number of government employees per capita in the entire United States, and we've paid off 36% of our state's debt from the 1840s to the present. Just since I've been governor, we've done that. So we're all about it. If they can deliver this in Congress, that'll be good for the country. It'll definitely be good for Florida. But we need Congress to step up and change its behavior.
They won't, and I'm confident they won't. Even the Republicans who control it, they won't do it. It'll never happen. That's why I'm just so excited about Doge, because that's the only thing that's going to happen.
Guys, you know how amazing it is? I got to show you this one more time. This is the first state. Maine is the first state that will no longer receive federal funding because they are still allowing men to play in women's sports. Well, guess how much that federal funding was in 2024? $4.8 billion with a B that they're not going to get because they're not complying with Trump's executive orders. And it's about dang time, because something's going to change and money talks. Thank you so much, Mr. Burns, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, please tell my wife, let's go. She loves that. Her name is Carrie. Carrie, let's go. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all show Mr. Burns and Carrie some love in the chat, guys. I love it. Okay, I have to show you this. This is backed by popular demand, guys. Everybody loved in earlier today's show seeing The View get demolished. You've never seen The View speechless. The faces they make, it is as hilarious as it gets, guys. Here it is.
She goes on to talk about how he puts animals in blenders to feed his birds of prey.
Baby chicks and mice.
But the point here is, think about the mentality of what it takes to physically do what you're asking that person to do and stop. There are stories about people that kill animals and what you need to lack to be able to do that. This man seems dangerous.
Well, Sarah, experiments funded by a very good friend of this show, Dr. Fauci, locked puppies inside cages with their head in boxes filled with sandflies, eating their faces alive. Now that is a dangerous man, I would say, a psycho. But he's a friend of yours, okay? Not someone who feeds their birds of prey their natural diet. So clearly, you don't have any idea how feeding a predatory animal or the food chain in general works, because you live inside a Disney La La Land where Simba has gone vegan. And I would say, thank God that you don't have any birds of prey, because if you did, they would be dead from hunger by now.
Look at their faces, guys. That is without a doubt the most single best clip I've ever seen when it comes to the left being demolished, especially The View. And they're just sitting there like, they're terrified because they had no idea. They don't know what they're, oh, whoa, that was crazy, sorry. They don't know what they're talking about. And guys, I just love it. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, thank you so much for your support. Guys, we had to pull this in. Check this out.
Government against its citizens. And we have no one better here today to talk about this than these two. Alina, let's start with you. You've gone from working for President Donald Trump as his attorney with the lawfare as a private citizen to now being in the White House and seeing how the government is still being used to thwart his agenda through the courts. So maybe just take us through a journey a little bit of your experience and maybe some of the differences.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I mean, I always say I'm happy to not be outside a courtroom for once and have President Trump where he was supposed to be, which is in that Oval Office. So thank God for that. But I think when I came to, and yeah, my journey's been a strange one for an attorney, right? I always say this, you should not know who somebody's lawyer is. That should not happen in this country. And unfortunately, but fortunately for us, because we're gonna fix it now, they really took a misstep in their calculations when they used courtrooms, AGs, and DAs to try and take down political opponents. When we won the election in the most sweeping mandate on November 5th, I thought that was over. I really did. Every state, and I think it was a lot because of what they did with lawfare.
Yeah.
And then we got to the White House, and we started doing exactly what America voted for us to do. Cleaning up, getting rid of bureaucrats that are making money on taxpayer dollars, doing all the things we promised. And then again came the lawfare, and I feel like I'm right at home. So,
well, welcome to Washington. We're
unfortunately,
happy to have you.
the desperation is something that I thought would end when the American people spoke so loudly on November 5th, but they have not. They've just become more desperate, and now we've got them singing songs in New York and Chuck Schumer's holding beer cans. And
yeah, it's quite the scene. They're a little rudderless right now, that's for sure. So Congressman Comer, you are the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, one of the most important committees that we have on Capitol Hill. And you've been working for years to expose the way that the Biden administration was attacking not just Donald Trump, but also the American people who support him. And if you look at what's been happening really starting under Barack Obama, when they used the IRS to go after conservatives, this is not something that it just started. It's been embedded inside the federal government by the left. So now that you've been through the process of doing oversight with the Biden administration, how are you now working in the Trump administration with a new government and Republican control to really try and change some of these things so that Americans aren't being punished for having certain political views?
Well, for one thing, I've had conversations with Billy Long, the new IRS commissioner, as well as Kash Patel, who our staff's communicated with Bondi's staff, and we've given them specific instances of where bureaucrats have abused their power. I think a lot of times that, these bureaucrats, they do things, and even when they get caught, nothing ever happens. And what we want to do, and what our committee wants to work with the Trump administration on, is holding these deep state bureaucrats accountable. At the very least, they lose their job. Hopefully they get drug in for depositions. But at the end of the day, we've never seen a more weaponized federal government. It's not just the judiciary, it's the entire federal government. It's the IRS, it's the FBI, the CIA. We've got other agencies, the EPA, I would argue. They've been weaponized, and all the people that Trump put in office are disruptors. That's why I strongly support him. And at the end of the day, he's going to get every one of his nominees confirmed. So we're going to work with them. Jim Jordan's committee is going to work with them. We want to get rid of these bureaucrats and allow Trump to pass his agenda that the American people gave him a mandate to pass.
Yes. So during the election, one of the big slogans from the left was, we have to do this for the sake of democracy. And it's becoming more and more apparent as the Trump administration gets underway with President Trump's direction, that it was really about protecting the bureaucracy.
Right.
So, Alina, the president has signed more executive orders than any president in history in his first first month in office. Today is the anniversary, or the month anniversary, right, of since January 20th, since the new administration took office and was sworn in. But you have to, he can sign these executive orders, but he has to have help from the federal government and from Capitol Hill to actually implement them. Yeah. And now you're also seeing a number of judges trying to get involved to stop his use of executive authority. Can you talk about the judges continuing their lawfare and whether they actually have standing when it comes to blunting some of these orders and saying he doesn't have the power in the executive branch to do what he's doing?
Yeah, of course. I mean, you know, it's a lot like what I spoke about before. This is desperate times for them. And I'll say this, I think that if you are going to fix a car and you don't look under the hood, how can you fix it? So what we're doing is taking a good hard look under the hood of where the money was spent, how it was spent. And their attacks, for instance, on Elon, we were discussing this. It's so baseless. It's so ridiculous. The fact that they're upset, for instance, yesterday, Governor Hochul in New York, that she's gonna fight our administration tooth and nail for stopping congestion pricing. Congestion pricing in New York is ruining tourism. It's stopping people that work there from driving to work. Their subways are not safe. These people are caring more about their next election. They care more about their face on TV and their politics than they do the people they're supposed to represent, the constituents that voted for them to do the work. Unfortunately, they have taken that to courts. And we've seen it, we've won, we always win, we keep winning. I mean, even Chutkin said it. Look, if they had it their way, our guy would be in jail right now, and that didn't happen. And instead, we won in the most profound way. The American people are happy with what we're doing. And the amount of executive orders that we are pummeling on them is because we have that much work to do.
Yes.
We have to correct 4 years very quickly, and we are all committed to win. And we're gonna keep winning.
Congressman, you wanna weigh in on the...
Guys, how beautiful is that? Jisung rocks. Rock 'em, sock 'em down the road of shame. Go Trump, Elon, Cash. Let's go. Y'all show Jisung some love in the chat. Guys, I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if you don't mind, clicking the thumbs up like button. Guys, we thank you so much for your support. We couldn't do this without you. We are so grateful that we get to serve you every day. We bust our butt to build you the best show possible out of all the breaking news that's happening throughout the day, to give you an amazing show that you get value out of, that you're learning things new, you're seeing things you normally wouldn't see on mainstream media. Because guys, this stuff that we're showing you, you know, we try to make a balance of it, but we want to show you what's the most breaking news, what's the most captivating that's affecting you. And I just want to say thank you so much for your support. Thank you to everybody that's given a super chat donation tonight. Want to give some love to John Reppy, Mr. Burns, Jisung Rocks. Y'all show them some love. And just want to say that if, you know, as things continue to grow, we got a big announcement this Saturday, guys. We're going to be not only donating to our charity that we do once a month, where we give a huge donation, thousands of dollars live on stream, to show you that we're partnering with you. When you give a super chat or you're a member of the channel, we take that money, that what's left of it from what YouTube takes, and we donate it, and we're giving back. We've got another huge announcement, guys, that's going to be, I mean, I'm super excited about it. I think you're going to love it, but I'm super excited. Love you all. Appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.